I can't hear you.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. On behalf of IIFL Securities, I welcome you all for the third quarter FY22 analyst meet of PowerGrid. I'd first like to congratulate the management for their efforts to deliver the performance in a very tough, challenging macro environment, and yet consistently increase the dividend payout. Really appreciate, sir. Moving on to discuss the performance in detail and share the performance outlook, we have the senior management team of PowerGrid, represented by Shri K. Srikanth, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. M. Taj Mukarram, Director of Finance, Mr. Abhay Chaudhary, Director of Projects. I would first hand over the call to the management for sharing their initial thoughts, post which the floor will be open for Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Harsh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start with a brief presentation highlighting the performance and during the quarter, the outlook. Please upload the presentation. I hope it's visible.
That's right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. This is a very brief overview of where we are today. PowerGrid is having 1,72,190 circuit kilometers of lines, 1,344 in numbers, 4,69,000 transformation. Inter-region transfer capacity 97,290 megawatt, consistently above 85% of India's inter-regional capacity. Third largest CPSC in terms of gross block. Government shareholding remains at 51.34%. Coming to the performance highlights of this quarter. On the project execution side, we have had a capex of 7,188 crores this 9 months on a consolidated basis. This quarter, we spent 3,493 crores and on a consolidated basis and 1,588 on a standalone basis. Capitalization, we have done 5,238 crores this quarter against, on a standalone it is 3,854, and overall 9-month capitalization is 18,513 crores. This is also on consolidated basis. Physical capacity is added this quarter. Whopping 18 gigawatt VA of transformation capacity at so many locations. Inter-regional capacity of 1500 megawatt was added, and this is, I think, the Vindhyachal Varanasi line, 1500 megawatt. Pole 4 capacity of Raigad. Transmission lines 1468 circuit kilometers and 2 substations got added in this quarter. I'm very happy to share that on October 23rd, we completed the Raigad-Pugalur-Thrissur HVDC system, the entire system, which I have been briefing you the progress since last few quarters. And the last pole along with the AC system downstream was completed. This overall project is about 22,000 crores, and we have been able to complete it. A major part of it only in the pandemic period. Despite so many challenges of mobilization, movement of material, and so on. Coming to the operational performance, the 9 months we are 99.82% compared to 99.80 last year, above the 99.75% threshold. Trippings per line have marginally come down to 0.28 in this 9-month period. Financial performance, the income for the quarter on a consolidated basis, 10,724 crores, and profit after tax on a consolidated basis is 3,293 crores. There is reported profits are down slightly, mainly because of a few. One is that last year we had one-off billing in this quarter for about 300 crores. And this quarter, we had to make two major one provisioning for employee contribution to PF and other benefits, about 75 crores. And there is also a decrease in the income from subsidiaries on account of transfer to the InvIT, and profit share in the profit of joint ventures has come down by about 70 crores. So these reductions are basic, they have taken away the sheen of this significant capex and project completion which has been done in this quarter as well as in these 9 months. We look at the 9 months on a consolidated basis, the income is 31,630 crores, and the profits after tax 12,668 crores. This also includes the profit on account of the InvIT monetization. So income growth is about 5% and PAT growth is 49%. But if we, it includes the InvIT profits. These are some of the numbers. I think that you would have already gone through these. I would only say that there has been an increase in the consultancy income. The telecom income is down on the back of a rebate we had to give to BSNL in the first quarter. So that is one of the reasons for this reduction. Operating expenses are slightly up, also because of capitalization and all, because more O&M activity in this compared to the last year because of the easing of pandemic restrictions. If we, this is on a consolidated basis. Yeah, the debt has come down significantly to 1 lakh 30,000 crores on a standalone basis and consolidated basis, and net worth is 75,971 crores. Book value today is about 108.91 crores. Debt equity is significantly down 63 to 37. We used to be 70, 69. Now it has significantly paid down because capex this year has been mainly out of proceeds of the InvIT. Some of the numbers which are of interest to you, if you see, I think I would draw your attention to the reduction in surcharge income, which is a very big reduction from 598 crores in the 9 months to 182 crores this year. Incentive is better off. It is up 30 crores on the back of better availability. Interest from subsidiaries and JVs has also slightly come down because we have separated those 5 subsidiaries, operating subsidiaries. Dividend from subsidiaries are also down because of the monetization. I think another point I would like to bring to your attention is this reduction in CSR expenses, 171 last year, this year 86. We have another 170 to go in this quarter. So when you do your calculations for the last quarter, please factor this because we are scaling up the CSR expenditure in this quarter, and we have an annual target of about 257 crores. We will try to meet that by this end of this year. If I look at the telecom performance, 9 months, it is 427 crores. It is slightly down compared to last year. But performance-wise, 100% backbone availability, we have now, board has given approval for an investment of about 330 crores in setting up a pilot data center at Manesar. And then we are also applied for the international long distance license. And then we have acquired through leasing around 2,500 kilometers of OPGW in Assam and Sikkim. This is a part of our strategy to expand our network into those regions, even the Northeast and Jammu Kashmir, where with our backbone, we will be able to provide data services and capture the market there. And the process of setting up POWERGRID teleservices is complete. Now we are preparing the scheme for slump sale of the telecom business to this entity. Turning to consultancy business, we had 145 crores in this quarter, 436 crores in aggregate income. Two key developments. One, we had signed a joint development agreement with Africa 50 for the construction of a 400 kV and 220 kV system in Kenya under a PPP framework. So we are preparing the project proposal, public-private investment proposal, and then after that is approved, then that project can be taken up. And then we have also signed a shareholder agreement for a joint venture with Nepal Electricity Authority to develop an Indian portion of the new Butwal Gorakhpur transmission system. And we have been successful in a project management consultancy contract in Moldova, Eastern Europe. This is our first entry into the Europe continent. Commercial performance compared to Q2, the receivables have marginally gone up 50 days as opposed to 48 days at the end of FY22, but much better than the end of Q1, 62 days. While there is a concern that the above 45-day numbers are slightly up, but overall situation is control. And other than Jammu Kashmir, we are able to make recoveries from most of the other states. Only Jammu Kashmir is something which is still rather intractable from our perspective. Business outlook today, the works in hand are about 24,500 crores, new projects ongoing 7,100. These are RTM 4,200. TBCB are 13,200 crores. In the upcoming opportunities in the TBCB space, we see about 26,000 crores of opportunities. 12,900 are under bidding, and the 10,000 to be initiated, and so on. There is this lay system which has been allocated recently to POWERGRID, along with some investment in the Gujarat ATC. And then we have recently been successful for Part G of the transmission system strengthening scheme for evacuation from solar energy zones in Rajasthan. Besides these, I think if I pause here for a minute on the transmission segment itself, a scheme is being drawn for 500 gigawatts of non-fossil capacities in the country by 2030, in line with the declaration or commitment made at the COP26. So we see that there will be need to add about 300 gigawatts beyond what is under on the ground today or under construction. And significant transmission systems will have to be drawn, because much of this is in the form of large solar parks, depending on the location of the solar or wind potential in the countries. These are being identified. So going forward, there will be a significant addition to the transmission network. Of course, there will also be an addition to the storage, because the future transmission network will also have storage, or the generators will have the storage. And while there will be some amount of offsetting the network with storage, but still there are opportunities, I believe, in the transmission segment going forward. In addition, outside of this transmission segment, we are looking at solar power generation at locations where there is land available. We have identified about 200 megawatt potential within the power grid stations, of which at Nagda, it's not a station as such. We have acquired land for a substation, so we have land enough for about 100 megawatts of solar. So preliminary surveys are over. We are going to engage a consultant for providing us the feasibility report, tender evaluation, and the support. This is something which we will take up very shortly. Smart metering is another area where we see investment potential. The government is committed to get about 10 crore meters installed by 23 and 25 crores by, I think, 2 years thereafter. And that is a big investment which is coming up. We are mandated to interact and engage with the states for setting up 1 crore of smart meters through kind of an MOU route. So we have started the process of procurement, and we will be taking it up with the states for these solutions, end-to-end smart metering solutions. So that is about 6,000 crores of investment is expected here. And finally, very happy to share that we have been ranked 44th among the Fortune 500 India rankings for 2021. This is where we were last year as well. I think one of the criteria is turnover, and that is where we lag significantly to other sectors. But we are. I conclude my presentation here, and would be happy to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now the floor is open for the Q&A session. Participants who would like to ask questions, please either you type them in the chat box or you raise the hand. I'll unmute you in a sequence so that you can ask the question. First question is from Mohit Kumar. Mohit, please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, sir. And congratulations on good set of numbers, especially their dividends were quite high in the quarter or for the 9 months. So my first question is, has your CapEx estimate changed after the new identified cost plus element? And where are we awarding for this cost plus HVDC asset? And what is the cost of HVDC Leh Ladakh? And what is the grant portion? That's the first question.
Okay, you are asking whether our capex target for the current year has changed?
Yeah, I'm talking about FY23. I think the number which you have mentioned in the budget is roughly around 25 billion, right? Does the number undergo a change because of
That will undergo a change. That is under review. We are looking to increase it. It will be up, I think, at least by 1,000 crores. So, but we are still reviewing it. Current year, we had targeted 7,500 crores, and at the pace at which we are incurring, and given that the government is also pushing us to increase the capex, we are likely to do close to 85 billion in the current year, 8,500 crores. And next year also, we would be increasing the capex. From the initial target of 7,500, it is likely to go up to 8,500 or less. As far as the Leh Kaithal project is concerned, the cost is approximately 26,000 crores. The grant component and all those details are yet to be finalized.
Understood, sir. My second question is, how is the bidding activity under smart metering? When do you expect this line of business to see the momentum? And why are you procuring, 5,000 crore or 6,000 crore worth of smart metering without any, MOU or, let's say, bid which you have won?
Because the government has, I think, identified about 4 crores to be done by the CPSUs through MOU routes. So those discussions are in progress, and we want to do first the tendering, get the most competitive price, and then be in a position to offer to them in the MOU route the best prices. So we believe that there is this potential. Of course, when we are giving the number of 5,000 crores, it is our tentative estimate. Only when we get the bids and all, we will be able to finalize.
And so lastly, sir, are you looking to monetize other tranche of assets in the InvIT in the next fiscal? Is there any, anything is finalized?
In the NMP pipeline, we have a target and we have a trajectory given. That is what we will be following. Only deviation, what is likely is that this year we have another 26% in one of the companies to be monetized in February. That will be eligible. And then there are a few cash flow streams on account of change in law, which we have received, so which we have the right under the share purchase agreement to receive over the lifetime, but we would like to monetize it and kind of settle it on a lump sum basis. So other than that, by and large, we have a 7,500 crore, I think, next year, which we would be targeting in the fiscal 22-23.
Understood, sir. Thank you and all the best, sir.
Next, we have a question from Vijay Bharani. Vijay, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. If I look at the pipeline of renewable projects, there is a number of around 60 gigawatts under construction and probably about 30 gigawatt. Sorry, are you telling me something, sir?
No, nothing. Sorry.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, so about 60 under construction and 30 gigawatt under bidding. That's the kind of number in the public domain. And that ties in with the number that you also mentioned. 100 gigawatt under operation. So this 100 that will come up in the next, say, 3 to 5 years. And then beyond that, we need to construct another 300 gigawatt to meet the FY 30 or 32 target. Now, in the medium term of the next, say, 3 to 5 years, this 100 gigawatt under construction and under bidding stage, what kind of interstate transmission capex is required to enable this capacity addition? And of this, what would be our opportunity, POWERGRID's opportunity?
See, as far as this target is, I mean, I think just give a minute. Right now, there is about 39,000 crores of total transmission for 66.5 gigawatts, of which about 18,000 is either commissioned or under construction. And under tendering and what is likely to come is about 21,000 crores. So this is for 66.5 gigawatts, which is more firm. So you can use these as a kind of ballpark and then, use it for another, say maybe, say 40,000 crores for 66.5 gigawatts. So maybe 50 lakhs per megawatt kind of a number is a reasonable estimate.
Okay, understood. So of this 39,000 crores, you said 18 is commissioned or under construction and 21 yet to come up, right?
Yeah.
So does the number we have put in the PPT, which includes say 27,000 upcoming opportunity and the Leh Ladakh of 26,000, does it all include this or is it not included in this?
Leh Ladakh is not included in any of these.
Okay. So the number you mentioned in your PPT around 25,000 will be part of this 39,000.
It's 12,900 plus 10,800. Yeah, that is what I was giving you.
Right. Okay. And despite these large numbers, not able to understand how our yearly capex numbers still is in say 8,000, 9,000 crore range. So when do you expect this to say scale up?
This is a function of winning those projects and then taking those projects forward, right? And assume, let us say that these are 22,000 crores which are opportunity set that is available, and let us say half of it we will win. Okay. And then what happens? It comes down to something like 11,000-12,000 crores. And then when you build this over 2-year period, your annual capex will come down to 6,000 crore. So, I mean, this is what the math would something look like.
Understood. So like this regulated tariff mechanism Leh project, are we expecting any other nominated project?
The last time, I don't know, I said something here, there was a hue and cry from the associations. So I think let us see as you go and let us see what is available.
Great, sir. Nice talking to you. All the best, sir. See you.
Sir, I'll take a couple of questions from the chat box. The first one is from Devanshu Sampath. His question is, will the investment towards setting up solar power generation transmission system as well as the smart metering, etc., be on regulated ROE regime? And if not, what should be the payback period for such incremental investments?
The smart metering system is having a life of about 7.5 years, 90 months operation, and 2.5 months construction. 2.5 years, sorry. 2.5 years plus 7.5 years. That is the period. And their kind of WACC-based guidelines have been given by the government. Of course, one has to discuss and negotiate with the state utilities, but a kind of general WACC of 10% has been allowed, ceiling, plus some project management expenses and so on and so forth. So one needs to go, when we see the discussion with the utilities, we will be able to come to understand what is the return. As far as the solar is concerned, it will be mostly market driven. So there is no regulated system there.
Sure, understood. Then we have a couple of questions from Deepika Mundra. So the first one is, when is the 6,000 crore so the pipeline of transmission projects, why there is no change from 26,000 crores despite some green energy corridor and interstate projects getting cabinet approval?
See, most of those are in the intrastate segment, and those are being built. What the cabinet has approved, the green corridor, I believe, is the intrastate segment, and that is what is going to be built by the utilities themselves through their own RTM route and all. So, a limited amount of that may come to the TBCB market.
Understood. So the second question is, when is the 6,000 crore of smart metering capex to commence? Duration of the capex, and any update on distribution strengthening investment for 33 kV lines?
The smart metering investment is most likely to come in the next financial year. And 22, 23, 23, 24, that is where I see it to be panning out. The distribution under the 33 kV, still in terms of on the ground, there is not much of a progress. Now the schemes are getting approved for the under the RDSS. Therefore, there is the I think it will still take some more time before those schemes are coming to ground, because they were to submit all their schemes by December, and then there is a committee which approves them, and then it is still taking time.
Sure, helpful. So the next question is from Apurva Badur. Your line is unmute. Please go ahead.
Hey, hi, sir. I hope I'm audible.
Yes. Please.
Right. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So coming to the late tender, can you please share what is the size of the storage component over there for the transmission line?
1 gigawatt hour, 1 gigawatt is the capacity. 4 gigawatt hours is the total. In 4 hours.
1 gigawatt, 4 gigawatt?
1 gigawatt.
1 gigawatt hours.
1 gigawatt hour.
Okay. Thank you so much. So second question is again on the transmission planning side. You said that some detailed work is being done, probably on the 300 gigawatt renewable capacity addition plan. So wanted to understand by when can we expect concrete numbers around this?
It will take at least another 3 months or so. Right now, the exercises of identifying the potential zones is in progress. Because the renewable resources are spread out all over the country. We have them in the state of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, MP. So all those potential areas are being identified to also check whether there is land availability, kind of in principle consent of the states. So these, once this exercise is done, it will provide the input to the CA and CTU to do the transmission planning. So this is, I expect at least 3 months more to come with some kind of a firmer understanding of the network that needs to be built and the network investments that will be required.
So fair enough. So last question from my side, and that is on this future storage tenders. Now that we are probably already into storage execution of storage tenders, so will we go for standalone storage projects as well, or we'll stick to transmission lines?
See, the recent guidelines of the government have made storage a very kind of, I think it has a very neutral kind of a color. So it can be a transmission element also, it can be, and then they have made it an independent storage service provider also. So definitely, as we gain experience in this, we will look at those opportunities.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much and all the best.
Next, we have a question from Anuj Upadhyay. Anuj, if you can go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity. Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
So, few clarification. First, on the Ladakh project, you mentioned that it has been allotted to under the RDM mechanism. So, is it been given to POWERGRID or it? Hello?
Yeah.
So, has it been given to us or provided?
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear your operative part.
Sir, it's regarding the lay transmission project, as it would be allotted under the RTM route. So, would that be given directly to POWERGRID, or there are a few other participants as well who can opt for that RTM thing?
It has been given to PowerGrid.
Sir, but it yet, I mean, we have not included that in a work in hand kind of a thing. That's the reason why I was a bit.
We
I was
have not
looking at.
included because the investment approval for that has not yet been made.
Fair point, sir. Thanks for the clarification. Secondly, sir, of the 39,000 crores project which you have mentioned, you said that 21,000 projects are yet to be awarded. Any timeline for that?
Yeah, there are 12,900 is under bidding. So I think these all will be speeded up now. There has been a significant change in the transmission planning process, approval process. So previously there used to be a requirement to go for regulatory approval and all. So that has been taken off. The approvals have been delegated authorities. A CTU can do up to 100 crores approval. The National Commission can do up to 500. Only beyond that, they go to the government. So these are now going to come in a quick succession for bidding and award.
So probably in 1 or 2 quarters we can see the tenders coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Next on the Khavda project, sir. First phase have already been tendered out. Can we have any kind of a timeline or clarity about the other phase? Because I believe the Khavda itself provide around 13,000-15,000 crores of transmission opportunity.
Yeah, those are again being relooked in terms of how to integrate storage into it and optimize the transmission network. Particularly in the area Gujarat and all, there is significant right of way constraint. So that is one thing which is being. This will be taken up in phases, but this is. I think another 4 gigawatts is coming up immediately. But thereafter, there will be, I think it will take at least another couple of quarters before we can see the tenders.
Fair point, sir. Thank you.
I go again back to the chat box where we have a few interesting questions. One is from Pratik Kothari, and he asks, it is being perceived that the asset monetization will happen via PG InvIT only without a competitive bidding, as POWERGRID is the sponsor of it. Any thoughts, clarity on the same? How do we ensure fair value is being acquired to us or it's being assigned to the assets? Any thoughts?
See, we have created the PG InvIT as a preferred vehicle for monetization of power grid assets. So at the same time, we would like to be fair to both our shareholders as well as the PG InvIT investors. I mean, we are absolutely neutral between the two and would like to do the fair, valuation of the assets and do an asset transfer.
Sure, thank you. The next question is from Rohit Natarajan. So the question is, in the late transmission project in Pang block, MNRE SECI has identified 22,000 acres of non-grazing land. Here, however, there is a presence of water body with fresh water body, etc., with fresh applications sought for an alternative site. So is this issue being resolved? What is the ROW issue revolving around, if at all there is?
The site location is not yet finalized. So as I understand, a team from SECI is right now at late to decide on all these things. There is plenty of land available. They will definitely take care of all these issues. What is to be set aside for grazing, or those under the. There is a wildlife area also there. They have to avoid that near Neoma.
Sure. There is another question from Atul Tiwari, and he says, can you please elaborate more on lay transmission project? What is the size and how much of that will be added to work in hand?
The lay transmission project, as I mentioned, is about 26,000 crore. And once approved, that will add to the work in hand. I mean, how much of it will add? It is a at least 5-year kind of a project.
Understood, sure. Next, we have Shubhadeep Mitra. Shubhadeep, you can go ahead with your question. Your line is unmuted.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, I just wanted to understand that beyond the current basket of 21,000 crores, which you mentioned is under the tendering process, what could be the potential addition to this basket, once this 21,000 crores gets extinguished? Are we looking at a annual number of between 15 to 20,000 crores that could, come under the TBCB pipeline?
I think that is a bit difficult to say annual number what it will come, because I mean that detailed planning is not yet made. So I would not like to hazard a guess at this point of time.
No, understood. So I completely understand that, while the numbers are probably still not finalized, but in your opinion, let's say over the next 2 to 3 years, what kind of a ballpark number could we look at, which could potentially get added to this basket of 21,000 crores?
I think around 15,000 crores kind of transmission investment should be can be expected on an annual basis.
Understood, sir. Thank you. That answers my question.
Okay. Then we have a question from Mr. Bharat Jain. Mr. Jain, go ahead.
Yeah, very good evening, sir. And two things in my mind. One, the company has been delivering good growth over past years and also sharing it well with the shareholders. Do you have any plans to make the similar payouts by a buyback route instead of dividends, because that will help share value appreciations also on the board?
There was a time when we were having leverage in excess of 2:1, and it was not possible to do a buyback. So now that the leverage is not in those levels, it is an opportunity which is possible.
Okay, that is one thing. And what is the kind of numbers we see going forward in the new financial year 2022-23 on the top line and bottom line? What is the kind of growth we see?
No, I would not like to give any guidance on that.
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you.
So can we go back to the chat box where we have a few questions lined up? One is from Meher Shah. The question is, what is the update on mechanism for monetization of assets into the InvIT after the change in government stance on complete sale of assets under monetization pipeline. I think the question is, can you update us on the proposed monetization plans, given the fact that there is a change in stance of government?
Yeah. See, the last monetization we did by transfer of shares, and therefore it is a complete transfer of ownership. But now in the monetization pipeline, there is a requirement that right to use or a right for a certain number of years without total transfer of ownership is to be made. So the existing structure is not working, and if we do in the form of a fees or any such arrangement, there seems to be a significant loss of revenues through taxation. So there is a GST issue which we have to resolve, and those deliberations are in progress. We have also engaged a consultant to evaluate various modes and suggest mechanisms where there is least or no revenue leakage on account of such taxation. That is a work in progress. Hopefully, in the next few months, we will be able to solve that and then get it finalized with the ministry and the Niti Aayog and the authorities, and then adopt that process. So, if you say, do we have a model right now which is approved and to be implemented? No. But we have the 22-23 available with us to do this, so we hope to do it. Definitely, first quarter or 4 months of the next financial year, we should be ready with some model there.
Sure, thank you. There is a follow-up question from Mohit. Mohit Kumar, go ahead.
Hi, sir. One question. Does the GNA, how does the GNA mechanism changes the industry? Just share your thought.
The GNA mechanism is meant to change the transmission planning growth of the transmission. See, if we look at it, historically, transmission planning was always linked with either one generation or a kind of demand. Though the National Electricity Plan talks of transmission growth being ahead of the growth in generation, or it should be leading. That means that you need to build a network in anticipation of demand. So that was not happening in some intermediate period where everything was tied to either generation, and so therefore this switch to GNA is expected to kind of dealing this and support the growth of the network and then provide a platform for the other economic activities to grow. So in that sense, it is a very good development, and it will kind of free this transmission growth. You will build the highways in anticipation of demand.
Sir, how many TBCB assets?
Sorry?
Sir, how many TBCB assets are operating at this point of time? And what is the revenue? A levelized tariff of all these elements, all this.
Let me just get you that number. Right now,
I think.
No, there are plenty of, no, not all of them are operating assets. So the operating assets are about 10 of them are under operation right now.
See, including InvIT, right? Excluding InvIT.
No, we will not count InvIT with us anymore. They are not ours.
So 10 are operational now, 10.
Yeah.
And what is the levelized tariff of all this? All these 10 assets?
Tariff is about 1100 crore.
Understood, sir. Thank you and all the best. Thank you.
I think Apurva also has a follow-up question. Apurva, go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry. I got my hand down. All my questions have been done. Thank you so much.
All right, no worries. So there is, the in the Q&A chat, there is one more question. Can you give the breakdown for FY23 capex?
FY23 capex, that is 22-23. In terms of what is TBCB and what is non-TBCB?
That's
I
right.
think that is the breakup I think you are looking for. Maybe around, you can say we are targeting about 2,800 crores from regulated assets, and the balance 4,200 odd from the TBCB, and then telecom and others will make up the rest.
Sure. Okay, great. Thank you. Next, we have a question from Sumit Kishore. Sumit, can you go ahead? Okay, we'll come back to Sumit. Next, we have a question from Mihir Manohar. Mihir, go ahead.
I stand corrected. I think the previous question was the breakup on these assets. Sorry, it's the other way around. I would like to correct myself. We expect the next year RTM assets will be roughly 5,000 crores, and
TBCB
on account of TBCB about 2,000 crores, and another 750 odd will be telecom and other assets.
Got it.
Okay,
Sure.
and this is right now not factoring any significant smart metering capex. So once we tie up those MOUs, that will get added to it.
So Mihir, you're next. Mihir Manohar, you have a question, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Sir, I wanted to understand the overall capitalization space. I mean, at some point in time, we were having north of 20-25,000 crores kind of capitalization from FY16 to FY18 onwards. And now we are seeing roughly 6,000 crores of capex opportunity coming up, and plus some 5,000 odd crores from the deal project. I mean, how?
Sorry, you are not clear. Can you please speak a little slowly and loudly?
Yeah, sure. Is it audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, sir, I wanted to understand that, say 3-4 years back, we were having like 25,000 crores kind of capitalization per year. And now that number is coming down to 6,000 crores on the TBCB front, and roughly another 5,000 crores from the LEE project. So how do you see the overall opportunity in this space? And, the CA has also come out with the addition, and it has stated only 20 gigawatts of addition on the thermal side from FY22 to FY32 onwards. So how do we see the overall capitalization panning out from here?
See, I think I have been telling regularly that the 25,000, 22,000 crores of capex on transmission assets is now difficult to sustain over a long period, right? So the opportunity set itself has declined significantly, and most of the assets are going through the TBCB route where the competition is very significant. So I just now gave a number that maybe around 15,000 crores on an annual basis is the likely opportunity set for the transmission segment. And that is the reason we are looking at other segments such as data centers or further increase in the telecom, smart metering, solar. These are some of the areas where we are trying to increase the non-transmission revenue and business opportunities.
Sure. 15,000 crores kind of a number is what broadly can be the range.
Yeah.
Mihir, your audio is really poor. Maybe you can join back in the queue or type a
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Thank you. Can we? Okay. Next is Sumit Kishore. Sumit, go ahead. Your line is unmute.
Thanks for the opportunity. My first question is on capitalization for FY23. Given the state of progress on projects, what is your expectation and how would you break it up into TBCB and RTM? And if I may just add, you mentioned that the capex of 75 billion rupees targeted for FY23 can be upsized by about 50 billion rupees. Would that be mainly on account of new TBCB wins that you're expecting next fiscal, or you're including a portion of that Leh Ladakh project into capex?
It is more out of, partly out of the new wins likely, as well as the RTM which we have received in the recent past. We are expecting around 14 to 15,000 crores of capitalization next year. Okay. So I won't be able to give you immediately the breakup in terms of RTM and TBCB, but
Sure. My second question.
Yeah.
My second question is in relation to the Africa 50 initiative. It seems more like project management by POWERGRID. So POWERGRID will not have to make any equity investment there, right? Or what would be investment by POWERGRID?
No, that is not right. The joint development agreement is for investing into this project through a private-public partnership with Kenyan authorities. So Africa 50 is the lead partner, and we are having, we propose to have an equity stake, significant equity stake when this project is approved. It's not just a PMC contract.
Okay. So the size, given the size of this project, how much equity would you be required to bring in?
The size of the project, I think, is about 2,000 crores, roughly 300 million, 280 million or so.
Okay, that's the total project cost.
Yeah, so size of the equity and all that will again be function of what is the debt equity.
And for the investment that you plan in data centers, what would be the return model? And again, what is the pipeline of investments you have planned in data centers in the next few years?
We have just now approved one data center at our Manesar complex. That is about 330 crore investment. Another for a hyperscale data center, we are engaging a consultant to provide us the blueprint and all. And then little more investment in edge data centers is what we are looking. But right now, I think next year you can say we will be investing about 350 odd crores in these data centers. And then it will pick up going forward.
Okay. So in terms of looking at your overall capex number, we should add the number for smart meters plus the data centers and plus the guidance that you have given for capex on transmission.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, we have one last question, and that's from the chat box. It comes from Vishal Shah. If the Ladakh project capex gets added to the pipeline, will the annual capex move from 75 to 80 billion rupees to 150 billion rupees per annum over the next 5 years? Is that the right understanding?
No, that is not, because Ladakh project, is a kind of 5-year project. So if we have 27,000 crores, even if you say 1-year design, annual capex will peak at around 9,000 or so. So we won't be able to add another 15,000 to it.
Understood. Sure, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, that was actually the last question. In case you have any further queries, feel free to reach out to me or POWERGRID management, and we shall do the needful. On behalf of IIFL Securities, I sincerely thank POWERGRID management for giving us an opportunity to host this webinar. Really appreciate, sir. Any last comments you'd like to make?
No, I thank all the investors and the analysts for the support to PowerGrid. Look forward to your continued support going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moderator, can you disconnect? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I disconnect now, boss?
Yes, sir. Please.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, Nikhil. Thank you very much.
Bye, bye, Darshana.